Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Iain Dyer. I'm head coach of British cycling team.
Where are you positioned? Talk us through where it's all at for British cycling here in Andorra.
For us now in Andorra, we're about obviously coming to do a great performance at the World Championships, and it's the athletes' key objectives of the year. But we're also in a points gaining mission to make sure we qualify our places at the Olympics next year in men's and women's cross country.
How do you market yourself? This morning I'm finding on the social media front, the teams are weak.
Yeah, I think we're pretty strong on that. We've got very good web content people back home. They don't travel with the team everywhere to every location, but we've got pretty good sort of press relations team also. And it's a brave new world out there in the realms of social media at the moment, and athletes are finding their way, and we do our best to support that as best we can. In fact, I've got an email sitting on my phone at the minute from our PR team about media training for our athletes, both at the back end of this year and again next year, so it's something we're very aware of and do our best to support. I mean, I think there'll always be riders that really revel these conditions, and we're no stranger to a bit of rain in the UK, so I'd like to think we do fairly well in these conditions. I think the athletes are a pretty robust bunch. I mean, at the end of the day, they travel all over the world. They have heat and altitude and humidity, and then obviously on certain days like this, cold and rain. And I think some prefer it more than others, but I think we stand up pretty well.
Can you talk a bit about your team members that are racing this week in Andorra?
Well, today on the second day in cross country, we've got Grant Ferguson, Ian Patton, and Alice Barnes in the under 23 categories. Yesterday we medalled, which was great. Evie Richards scored a silver medal in the junior women's cross country, so that was a real good start for the team. Obviously on the downhill front we're a pretty strong nation, and we've got realistic medal hopes across the board there in men's and women's and downhill, and a strong junior team also. So hopefully we'll come out with a few medals this week. Yesterday
I interviewed a downhill mountain biker women, first time I've done it.
Right.
How are you marketing women? Because they're saying that it's a man's world, it's dominant.
I think if you look to the likes of Rachel Atherton, and in the past British downhill women have always been very strong. They're out there by themselves to an extent. It's a very commercial world in mountain biking, and no more so than downhill mountain biking, very commercial world. And of course it's not part of the Olympic disciplines, so we have an arm around those guys at major championships like we do here, but they make their own way. They do a great job of it. They know their sport inside out and what it takes to win. So I think they do a really great job. They're tied in very heavily with sponsors and commercial engagements, and I think the promotion from that side is very strong.
Men's style fashion's message is very simple. We want to see men dress well, looking after themselves. As I mentioned before, I'm the first woman in the world to put an athlete, a world champion, downhill mountain biker at London Election Day. Vogue last week are talking about the raise, the athletes are role models, and we should need and use them in fashion. What's your view on it?
I think high-level athletes make amazing role models for all aspects of society. Not just fashion, but for healthy lifestyles, role models for professionalism. I think particularly with the strong placement that British cycling has within the Olympic family, there's no soft medals there anymore. You've got to be on top of your game. You've got to be 100% as an athlete, as a person. You've got to be well organised and disciplined, and have a professional outlook on life. And I think that fits well within the frameworks of lots of different businesses and areas of industry. And I think we see the same in other industrial sectors, where they're really keen to have athletes come and talk to their employees and things like that, because they're an inspiration, they're motivational, and they, like with conditions like today, for example, they're used to overcoming adversities and powering past the struggle, so I think they make great role models for a lot of people.
Yeah. One final question: what's your highlight within your career with working with these guys and girls?
I think, my highlight, I came from a sprint coaching background. I've been to 3 Olympics now. I worked with Chris Hoy for over a 12-year period, so we had some big highs in that sort of area. My personal highlight was rolling out not one but 2 British athletes for the men's sprint final in 2008 Beijing sprint final, because not only were we guaranteed a medal, we were guaranteed 2 medals, but it was fantastic to see 2 guys that I'd worked with battle it out, good friends as well. That's just a win-win.
Sports depression, especially at the end of an athlete's career, is very high. I find it's a bit of a taboo subject across the sports. You want to speak about it a little bit?
To be fair, I don't think it's something that I'm particularly aware of. We actually extend some great relationships with athletes that retire through their career. Through the English Institute of Sport Network, we're able to support athletes on professional development programs. That's something they can engage in at any time. So once they become a senior full-time athlete, they've got the benefit of a performance lifestyle advisor and some funding that they can tap into to help augment their qualifications and their professional development. And I think as a result of that, many of them feel quite well prepared for life outside of cycling, or at least outside of competitive cycling, and hopefully move on to good things when they decide to retire. I think, as I highlighted earlier, a lot of retiring athletes have a great many qualities that are super for employers or other commercial partners, and can go on to big things.
Well, I've just employed an ex-golfer. They're disciplined, they're professional, they're amazing just athletes. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Good luck, and I'll be watching.
Thank you very much.
In the rain and all of it.
Yeah.